The best lawyers aren't found in the big law firms. They're found in the stories of those who left. Chapter 4. Overthinking kills action. I stared at my screen, rereading the same LinkedIn message for the 6th time. Hey, so-and-so, hope you're well. I saw your post about, it's too generic. Hi, I wanted to reach out because too desperate. I deleted it again, my fingers hovering over the keyboard, brain spinning in circles. Every single sentence felt wrong. I knew I needed to be doing outreach. I knew the biggest reason lawyers struggled with self-employment was because they never asked for business. They just hoped it would magically appear. I wasn't naive enough to believe that clients would come knocking, so why the hell was I stuck? I sat back, rubbing my temples. Paralysis by analysis, the lawyer's curse. I'd spent my entire career training myself to spot risks, to find flaws, to anticipate everything that could go wrong before it happened. And now, that same skill set was crippling me. Every outreach message felt like a legal argument that needed to be airtight. Every DM felt like a potential professional embarrassment. I exhaled loudly, standing up, hoping to draw sympathy from Courtney, who was on the couch, reading a book, her tea balanced on the armrest. I blurted out when I didn't get any reaction. I need help. She looked up, pretending to be annoyed. You know, the best way to ruin a good book is to interrupt me mid-chapter. But she must have noticed my puppy dog face and genuine confusion, like a lost little boy looking for parents at the shops. What are you struggling with? I ran a hand through my hair. Messaging, outreach, business development, whatever the hell you want to call it. Saying the right thing to get people to get my first clients. She smirked with a knowing look, the kind that came from watching me overthink one too many things. You, the guy who spent years negotiating contracts and convincing clients or your clients' competitors to accept your terms. You're struggling with sending a few friendly messages. I let out a noise somewhere between frustration and surrender, dragging my fingers down my face. It's different. She tilted her head, feigning innocence, but aiming straight for the jugular. How? I opened my mouth, then I closed it, then frowned. She closed her book and sat upright. Jason, what's really going on? I hesitated, the words dragging themselves out. I don't want to come across as desperate. Her expression was steady and unflinching. Are you desperate? I dropped my gaze to the floor, the simple question harder than it should have been. Not desperate yet, but I do need work. By now, she had gotten up and came to take a seat across from me, putting her hand on my arm, a reassuring gesture. Then define what desperate sounds like to you so you can avoid it. I opened my hands uselessly, which made her have to remove her hand from my own. I don't know. The confession came out rougher than I intended. But that's what it feels like I'm some cold caller, bugging people who don't want to hear from me. She studied me in silence for a beat, her hand returning to the same place on my arm again, undeterred by my words or tone. Have you ever gotten one of those sleazy sales pitches in your inbox before? I gave a small huff through my nose, half laugh, half admission. Yeah, plenty. Her voice was soft, but there was a deliberate weight behind the question, the kind that told me she already knew the answer but needed me to see it for myself. And how do those messages usually start? I thought about it and looked at my inbox on LinkedIn. I read the first one aloud, the words tasting sour even as I said them. Hey Jason, I came across your profile and wanted to offer you a free strategy session. Just book a time in my calendar. A flick of my thumb brought up another. Jason, I help people like you generate high quality leads. Book a time in my calendar to learn how I can help. The cringing started halfway through the second line. I dragged a hand down my face as I finished reading. Courtney shifted in her chair, setting her mug down with a louder clink than usual. She had grown impatient. Are you planning on sending messages like that? The words burst out faster than I meant them to, stung more by my own embarrassment than her tone. Of course not. Courtney's mouth twitched, somewhere between impatience and genuine amusement. Then what are you worried about? I stared at my screen, the cursor blinking like it was daring me to figure it out. I just don't know how to start. Courtney stretched, rolling her shoulders loose, then reached for her tea again, her movements unhurried, almost giving me room to catch up. All right, what do you hate about those messages? I sat back, letting the question sink in, my fingers drumming an uneven rhythm against the table. It feels like they're telling me I'm stupid, I muttered. Like I have to jump through hoops to book time in their calendar, only to hear that I'm doing everything wrong and then get get sold some overpriced solution. Courtney tilted her head, the faintest trace of a dry smile pulling at her mouth. Noted, you don't like being treated like you're stupid. Fair enough, no one does. She let the words settle for half a second before leaning forward slightly, pinning me with that look that never let me off the hook easily. Then what is the purpose of sending messages for you? I scratched the back of my neck, feeling like I was throwing darts with a blindfold on. To get business? She shook her head. Wrong. Try again. I shifted in my seat, frustration creeping in. To start a conversation? Her head moved in a slow arc. Better. Encouraging but patient, waiting for the final piece to click, but still not quite it. I leaned back slightly, crossing one ankle over the other, bracing myself. Then what's the answer? She took a slow sip of tea, then met my gaze. The goal is to help people. It starts with an offer to help. If that goes well, it can lead to business. But that's out of your hands. The only thing you should focus on is helping them in some way. I stilled, the simplicity of it hitting harder than I expected as it cut through my paralysis by analysis. She let the pause breathe for a moment before continuing, her tone calm but unyielding. Jason, you believe in what you're doing, right? You know these business owners actually need help with their contracts. I gave a small nod, the kind born of fragile hope more than certainty. Yeah. She shifted forward in her seat, a quiet force underpinning her next words. And you know that most of them don't even realize they have legal blind spots and sign contracts being forced on them and call them standard industry terms. At least that's what I've heard you say at least 100 times over the years. I emptied my lungs with a slow, reluctant breath. Right. Courtney leaned in just a fraction more, the weight of her focus squarely on me now. So if you're genuinely helping them, why are you hesitating? My fingers gripped my chair, afraid that admitting the truth would cause me to fall off as the reasons ran through my mind. Because deep down, part of me still felt like I needed to prove myself. Because for 7 years, I'd been told my value came from the letterhead above my name, not the work itself. And now, I was asking people to trust me. Just me. Courtney didn't move. She just waited, letting the discomfort do its work. She didn't let up. You have conviction in what you do, right? I rubbed the side of my thumb across the table, needing something to anchor me. I guess. A pinpoint focus narrowed in her eyes, not aggressive, just sharp, like she was waiting to see if something important would finally land. For at least the past 3 years, how many times were partners checking your work? When was the last time it had been redlined when they did check it? Never. The answer slipped out quicker because I could see where she was leading me, and part of me wanted to get there too. Courtney nodded once, sharp and certain. So there is ample evidence you know what you're doing. I'll ask again. You have conviction in what you do, right? Yeah, I replied. This time there was weight behind the word. She eased back slightly, a quiet satisfaction crossing over her face, knowing she had outlawyered me. Then, outreach isn't annoying anyone. Then what is it? I furrowed my brow, still not quite grasping it. A sly grin unfurled across her mouth, slow and knowing, the way someone looks just before handing you the key to a locked door. It's your responsibility. I just stared at her. She tapped the table. Think about it. You're sitting here worried about annoying people, but if they sign a bad contract because you didn't reach out, isn't that worse? I breathed out, the tension easing just a little as the message was getting through to me. Touché. She grabbed my laptop, opened it up to bring up LinkedIn and slid it back in front of me. Then stop overthinking it. You know what makes the best outreach messages work? I half raised a shoulder, not really convinced myself. A good pitch? She shook her head, so I tried again. A genuine interest in wanting to help the other person. She nodded in approval. So, what does that look like? I asked. Courtney spoke with a calm certainty, like the answer was so obvious she almost didn't need to say it. Start with these 3 types of message templates, but send them as a voice memo so they can hear your genuine conviction when you say it. I latched onto a single portion of her suggestion. A voice memo? She swirled her tea gently in the cup, her voice easy but deliberate, like she was pointing out something obvious I'd been too close to see. Yeah, you can give more life to your words when you speak them instead of typing. Think of every time you have sent or received an email and misread what the other person wanted because there are no cues to tell you how to interpret the words. That's true. The fragile beginnings of belief emerged within me. Voice memo is so simple and personal. Even those sleazy pictures I've received would have at least had a chance if I could hear the voice was genuine and had conviction. Courtney had finished typing and swung the laptop around to me. Here's 3 examples you can use. Hey, I saw your recent post about so-and-so. Great insight. How's business going for you this year? The value add for cold prospects. Hey, my mission as a lawyer is to help small business owners to never sign a bad contract again. And I keep seeing this common issue. If you ever want a second set of eyes on your agreements, I'm happy to help. No pressure, just good legal protection. The referral builder for industry professionals. Hey, I've been working with a lot of accountants, advisors, etc. lately to help their clients avoid contract pitfalls. Would love to hear what trends you're seeing. Maybe there's a way to add value for each other. I stared at the messages. They're simple, not pushy, and when I read them out aloud as I would in a voice memo, they actually sounded pretty good. Shaking my head at my own procrastination. All this overthinking, and this is all I needed to do. Courtney wore a victorious expression, like she'd seen this coming a mile away. Told you, but don't expect it to work right away. The point is to test in batches of 10 of each type of message and see what results you get. Then tweak the message or slightly improve it or adjust it until you actually have a decent response rate. I leaned forward slightly, curiosity getting the better of me. What's decent? Her look became clinical, ready to dissect my responses. That's a good question. Maybe a number that makes it feel worthwhile to keep doing it. How does 1 in 10 responses sound? Watching me closely to measure my reaction, my eyes darted to the page, then back to her. She interjected before I could give a full reply. 2 out of 10? My voice stretched out, the words dragging a little, giving me time to think. Maybe. She went on. 7 out of 10? I leaned in without meaning to, my voice lifting with each word. That would be amazing. Her voice softened, already sure she had me. 4 or 5 out of 10. My excitement ebbed, leaving behind the action plan. That sounds good to me. So for every 10 messages I get, 5 responses. And then if one of them leads to work, I'd be stoked. Sending 10 messages a day is a habit I can do easily. She pushed my laptop an inch close to me with one finger. Sounds like we know what numbers you're aiming for then. She slid my phone into my hand. Now you just got to start recording and hitting send. I opened a new message, thumb hovering over the mic icon for a moment before I hit record and sent my first message. Then another and another, until I had done 30, 10 of each type. Within 30 minutes, 7 people had replied. Not a single one was annoyed. Some ignored me, and most hadn't opened them yet. But it wasn't the enthusiastic response I'd hoped for. Hey, Jason, heard you'd made a move. Congrats. We don't have anything right now, but I'll keep you in mind. Some who I expected a response didn't. Twinge of doubt crept in, but I steadied myself. This was realistic, expected even. Every rejection, every silence was just data, information I could use to refine my message and approach. I reminded myself success wouldn't come instantly and resilience would be my greatest asset. I hit send on 8 more, feeling good about my efforts while I started the bedtime routine to keep from refreshing my inbox every 30 seconds. Pretending to be pirates with Ollie as his sister watched on from the hallway helped distract me. I enjoyed the shrieks of joy as I pretended to make him walk the plank, but I struggled to stay fully present. When it was time to read the Finding Nemo book, I was going faster than usual to get back to my inbox. Emily's words cut through my heart, even though she had spoken with complete innocence. You missed a page, Dad. She was right. I was rushing through the kind of moments I had quit my job to protect. I flipped back through the pages to the front cover. Sorry, darling. Let's start again and do it properly, hey? Yay, she shouted with glee, throwing her arms around me. At that moment, I didn't care who had replied. We finished the book, and I gave her a big hug and squeeze. Love you, Daddy, Emily said, melting my heart. Returning to the kitchen where I'd left my phone, I heard a notification vibrate on the counter. My mind jumped, ready to shift gears, but for a moment, I let myself linger in that feeling of presence, of being right where I was supposed to be. I unlocked my phone to find one of the messages had responded. Hey, Jason, nice touch with the voice memo. We've got a new supplier we're considering. Would be good to have you take a look at their agreement before we sign. I'll be in touch once they send it through to me. I whispered to myself. It worked. Courtney peeked over my shoulder. And that, my dear husband, is why you should stop thinking and start doing. I was feeling lighter than I had in weeks. For the first time, outreach didn't feel desperate. It felt like a service and a responsibility I could stand behind because when I framed it accurately and let my tone come through, it Didn't sound salesy, but like the truth, that I genuinely wanted to help. Context is everything. I'm a contract lawyer. I should have known that. By not doing it, I was letting more people down than by doing it. And I didn't want to let anyone down. End of chapter. Bonus resource, the Sell.life Outreach Template Tracker. Allows you to brainstorm all the potential outreach scripts you can use and which ones get the most responses and lead to getting the person on a call to discuss more. Head on to the link in the show notes of this episode to get that resource.